Hey, welcome all to my channel. This is Ferocious. Now, a quick thing here is I've broken this series of videos on how to use FinViz in terms of finding swings, volumes, and long-term investments into 3 videos. Now, make sure to watch them all. They're very beneficial, but the basics of these ones can be translated to any of them. If you would like to watch them, they are in a playlist, or you can just search them quickly into my channel. I'll try to add them in the description once they're all done. Today I'm going to be covering how to find different tickers through scanners. Now I'm using FinViz here, but I'll be updating this video onto all different kinds of scanners that you can think of. So make sure to drop them down below. Hopefully I have access to them in Canada, or I can at least create a free account, and I'm happy to go ahead and show you how to use it properly. Now, in all senses, I'm going to be using all the fundamentals and all the technical analysis that will be used for other scanners, and they can be translated over. At the same time, I'll explain everything in my part. So we'll start here with FinViz. Perhaps next is the platform I use, which is Questrade, and then we're going to move on from there. So make sure to drop a like to this video to help the channel grow, subscribe, and leave notifications on. And let's jump right into this one. So FinViz account here, just is the free account, so you don't need to pay anything. It's not the elite. It's 15 minutes delayed. So you got to recognize that. Now it has all these kind of different things like headlines that are pretty good. Some important things that are going to come, which is usually around here, the economic releases, and you'll be able to see a different bunch of things on here. You got your kind of heat map or for what tickers, what industries are going good or bad, including in the world as well. And there's different map filters in different countries, so you get to see at least, for instance, if an exchange is opening, let's say, earlier or later ahead of us. Let's say it's a Monday and China is open already. For instance, you can get to see what industries took a massive hit and translate it similarly towards the US. Sometimes, well, most of the time, it actually does translate. Similarly, it could be to other things. For instance, let's say you want to look into what kind of futures there are in terms of how they're performing. So you can get to see, for instance, that the NASDAQ, SP 500, and Dow Jones currently are sitting at marginally green. So that's all kind of nice and amazing. Another thing here I like to do before I even look into my scanners is try to look a little bit into groups. What groups really tells me is the daily performance for each of these sectors. So I'm zooming here just a tad. There you go. For instance, on the last day, I know energy took a massive hit. The average of the industry for energy took around negative 3.4%, while real estate really bounced back. But if you can really see that things like utilities are still good, but consumer cyclical and technologies here have took somewhat of a hit. Now, of course, if we were to look into, let's say, year-to-date comparisons and 1-year relative, you're able to see which ones have taken the most hit. So 1-year relative, you get to see energy never really recovered there. So you can, for instance, if you want to make a long-term, you might want to look at energy for the correction. And when I'm saying correction, I'm not looking for, let's say, something where it's going to bounce back 300%. I'm just saying relatively, if you want to keep your money for 10 years. You get to see consumer cycle is basically at 46.2 on year relative, which doesn't make sense because technology has been running the most. So there's something there, and for instance, you can see what kind of portfolio you want to build based on this. You don't want to put 100% on the one that has performed the best in 1 year because corrections happen. But anyway, that is my style. Everyone has a different style. Everyone has a different philosophy. Now, coming on towards psychology the scanner itself, out of the psychology itself. So there we go. Zoomed in just a tad. You can be able to see everything perfectly here. So there's 2 types of trades I do. Well, actually 3. There's the investment, there's the swing, and there's the volume. So the volume one breaks into multiple things. So first, let's dive into the volume one. Because the volume ones, what I'm trying to see is which stocks have hypes, which one is getting picking a little more interest. And so what I do here is I go with average volume. I want to be able to buy and sell in general. I myself play a little bit with a bigger chunk of money than some other people. So really this depends on what kind of money you play with. But I usually like my stocks to have on the day at least 1 million in terms of volume. And even that, it can be really painful to fill an actual order. So the next thing here is relative relative volume. I want it to be, let's say, 2 to 3. So for the sake of the argument, we're starting with 2 here, and you can increase it. Let's say you only want the ones that are really giving up all and it's exploding. So you usually go for 3 to 5. But for the sake of here, we're just gonna go for over 2. Float, I want something that can move fast because I'm doing volume, right? So you can do under 50. Of course, you can play on and fix these up. So let's say if you only have 5 stocks that actually fit in there, you can actually go on and do under 100 million in terms of floats. Floats are the amount of shares that are available for trading. Not the outstanding shares, it's different. Float is the ones that are actually held in the market. Relative volume is relative to the average volume. And what I like to do next, sometimes I go to technicals. And I want a stock, let's say, that is not sitting. Well, this is more of scanners here and filters, okay? So some of the things I do sometimes is I want to see something that is not overbought, okay? And you get to see it starts going 11. Okay, I want something that is, let's say, 52-week high. It is, let's say, 90 or more below high. See, you can't find anything here. Okay, 80. All right, these 2 stocks are beginning to come back. I like to go with a candle view because I'm able to see things better. It's starting to climb back, okay? This one is definitely a no. This one is maybe. But for all, what I really prefer to do is I just prefer to leave the technicals open for this one and go for descriptions and do under 30, under 50, over 2, and over 1 million. And here's where I start scanning. So this is where experience is going to come very handy. But I'll show you exactly how to do it even if you don't have that kind of experience. So in this sense, what I'm going to be doing is trying to look at what stocks or what tickers I like the charts off, and I can see potential. So what I'm scanning for is inflow, volume, support points. So this one here, you get to see it went from something like 85 to all the way to 115. Now, if you want to play only penny stocks, you can do, let's say, under 10. You break down to 29. Okay, so we'll do under 10 for now. Some of the stocks, okay, Boxel, it's seeing a little bit of resistance, is dropping down, people are cashing out, could have been a Friday thing. Okay, so I'll just open it up aside. Next thing, maybe, okay, this one is dropping red candles. I don't like to always buy a red candle. FRSX looks like it's actually doing something here, so I'll open up another tab. So here, there we go, I have different tabs up. So what I will do is I'll try to go on to everything I'm interested in. ITP dropped down 21.58%. I want to know why. It's quite interesting. Is it going to get a bounce? So I open that one and take a look at it. NSPR looks like it's actually curving down, so I don't want that. INPX, something is interesting happening because it looks like it might actually go for another, well, it just hit its 52-week high. So I'm intrigued. OBSF kind of gapped up. So I might want to see if I can play this one perhaps either a long or a short because there's a gap in there. I want to look back into the history. So I go on, let's say, and I go out to check, basically all these different stocks that I'm interested in, and open different tabs. It's a little bit of work, okay? It's not going to be just an easy thing where you just get a ticker and be like, okay, I'm investing in this or trading this one. It's not how trading works. Now, okay, so now I have a pool. I have Boxel, I have FRSX, ITP, NPX, OBSV, PPSI. Now, one rule I do for volume is that I don't trade them overnight or that kind of stuff without news. So let's take a look at PPSI. All right, it jumped 15.95%. Is there any news? No. So another website I really like to go to try to find if there's news or whatnot is fintil.io. This one here really gives you a good scanner for SEC filings. So quickly going on, I'll search up PPSI to try to see if there's any SEC filings, etc. Now, it could be it's something where it's related to an event coming up. So that way, perhaps you can go on and dive through the SEC filing. But an event hype usually breaks down as close as the event comes in because the expectations are massive. All right, so there we go. It's a $3.5 million order. That was all the way back in December. Nothing new. Okay, so I cut this one out. Before I do so, price over sales and price over book. Usually you want to look somewhere below 2 is amazing. Below 3 is amazing. Above 5, that's where I start getting a little bit itchy about it. So it is very close to its 52-week high. It's sitting, I think it broke 7. 52-week high is at 943. I'm not liking this one. Of course, I can check the setup, but I want news. I want something where it has something that it's moving it actually. Now, in this one here, you can get to see the actual gaps have been closed before, so looks OBSV is fine. Is there any news? There is FDA news, phase 3, they have a pipeline. Okay, I might consider this one. Although, look at price over sales, 8,806. That's a disaster for me. Sorry if you're investing in any of these stocks. I'm just trying to give my a bit of what my thinking process is, and I'm trying to go on with how I do them, not rather than generally just how you should do them. That's your business. INPX. One thing interesting here, right off the bat, is that this seems to be a very, very strong resistance. Look at that. 3 candles have been hit it before and dropped back. It's around 137. So I'm very interested in this one. I'm going to be eyeing it. And I know NPX. I've looked into them in a while. They have news. So they had the company's IoT Sensors Award of the Year. They released enhanced aware security solutions. And they look okay. The price over book is 135. This one might actually be more of a swing, so I'll keep it aside, and then I'll take a look at it later. ITP here, for instance. Okay, so what news actually made it drop 20%? They have an upsized public offering. This one, I want to look into it. It's a Chinese company. It is closer towards its 52-week range. Their offering is at 55 cents, so it's very close to there. I'll consider it. Public offering plays sometimes are, bring the price down a little and then jump back on. The last time they did it was back in April 20, and the price of that was, let's see quickly, 74 cents. You get to see it did recover from there on. Of course, it was this massive drop. It went to around 49 cents. It went below the offering price, then started to slide, and then jumping back. So previous performance is not that good, but volume is coming in, and a lot of people want to play these offering plays. So we'll keep that on the back burner. And then we got the FRSX. I'm not trying to bore you here in anything. I'm giving you kind of a little bit of a massive dive into my thinking process of how to get stocks and pick stocks for myself, especially on the watch list. So, company news for January 4th, 2021. Okay, I'm interested in this. They have initial pilot projects with a top global vehicle manufacturer. Okay, looks like they might actually want to do some kind of EV. So, I'm interested. I'll bite on this. Let's see what the news is. Quickly scan it here. Nope, so they don't have any solid news here. Okay, so what about the one the day before? They want to have, and is their innovator of automated vision solutions. By the way, I'm actually doing this as we go, just because I want to show you the exact process rather than having it ready and basically reading off slides. So, so they have the iNet Protective V2X, so it's more around the electronic vehicles, vehicle to everything. This is autonomous vehicles, my bad, not electronics. And they have an interest in that. Okay. So I'm interested in this. It actually is jumping up. It's at a 52-week high. So that's a dangerous one. So this level, you might want to consider looking at the technicals and then consider either longing or shorting. Now, I'm a trader, okay? So I'm not a bull or a bear. I'm looking at the stock and thinking, how can I make money off this? And be careful, by the way. Shorting has unlimited risks. Because this stock, you can short it, let's say at $9, and you don't cover $7, and then all of a sudden it's $100, you messed up. So that's something to consider. Boxel, Boxlight Corporations. I traded this one before a while ago. Okay, let's take a quick look. So Boxel is a communication equipment. It's more off, I believe, school solutions. So they do have a contract for $400,000 for the school district. Colorado school district. Their price over sales and price over book is okay. The move here is 4.78% on a relative volume of 5. I'm not liking the math. You see here quickly, the shares flow is around 38 million. Around half of that was traded in the entire session, and not a lot of price action. So this one actually might be what we call a swing. So we'll keep it here on the back burner. Actually, let's do something quick. Let's take a look into the volumes, and then we can move on to the swings. Okay, so quickly on, remember it shows OBSF. So what we're gonna do here quickly is go towards the technical analysis. And when I'm doing volumes, I do two things. I do 1 day and I do 2 hours. So on the 1 day perspective here, you can see I actually traded it a little here. On the way day perspective, what I want to see is this move an anomaly? Is it rapid growth? And what the ADX is showing you is the potential of a trend forming. It's not a confirmed trend here. Momentum is strong. It's oversold. So that might be a little bit dangerous in that sense. So I want to look into the 2-hour perspective. Things usually trade within 2 hours perspective. You get to see it is climbing up a little, but the ADX is above 50, and that's dangerous, so I won't play this one. And the MACD is actually retracting. So this one right off the bat, I classified them into levels. So this one is on the backup level. Something like I would maybe watch during the day. I want potential, remember. So next thing, if you remember, was the INPX. I want to look at the setup for the INPX. So the INPX here, you get to see it's actually retracting a little. It's dropping. I want to see if it bounces on the 120. I'm liking this one here, so it is on my watch list. ITP here. This is the offering play. I want to look into what kind of things happen during the day. Okay, it's starting to climb a little. The MACD is bouncing back. You know what? This is on my watch list, and I'm not gonna pay more than 55 cents for it. If it does drop below 55, I might consider picking up around 50-ish and riding until the offering price. And I want to look what the buzz is about this one. So this one is still here on my watch list. I'm saying watch list. I'm not saying I'm buying. That's a really important one. FRSX. This one had a big move. So what I want to do quickly is do the 1 day. And then, okay, I get to see, okay, this move is more looking like a growth. The ADX is at 66.98. Sheesh, that is way, way too high. Above 50, I don't like to play him because that shows you a trend is very possible for a reversal. And what I'm going to be doing here is, in terms of momentum, I am not really... Well, I'm liking this one here, but at the end of the day, it does look like it might see a pullback. So at this level, I want to make sure the supports and resistances are met. So I can definitely play this one. My support would probably be where I let it go is around 722. And I would try to get it at a pullback towards a new high. It's above the ADX 53.24. I do expect a pullback, but maybe a bounce. It's on my watch list. Now, what I'm going to be doing here just quickly is, I'm going to be breaking this video into first volume stocks and then the swings. So I'm going on next to swings. So right now I do have in my watch list a couple of stocks. So I have FRSX, I have ITP, and I have INPX. With OBSF-V is a little bit on the back burner. Now I do remember Boxel, but I did say I'm going to look at it as a swing, but I really didn't like it. So I'm going to take it off for now. I'm going to revisit it later. Now, what I'm going to do here, just quickly, is move on towards the swings, and I'm going to break it into a second video. Just if you all would like to watch it, you'll find it in the link in the description below and in the next series. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help this channel grow, subscribe, notifications.